See the Soraka taken out of the pool. Soraka, Yuumi have shown themselves up this morning, and it was insane to watch. Another support removed here with the Thresh as well as the Rakan on the side of SK Gaming, but the Braum is still open and available. You'd have to expect that one to be taken away in this last pick. Aphelios Braum, it really has been such a strong combination. But then the question is next, what do SK want to prioritize here with their first pick in the second phase?
I mean, you could grab the support here. We already talked at length about the Braum. You expect that it's going to be the Leona Misfortune as kind of the set combo that we've seen from the LEC. Again, maybe we see some cool casters, but because Braum can be punished pretty heavily in lane phase.
Can be, but will Carzzy and Kaiser be able to do it? Carzzy, one of the players that we got quite excited about. I'd like to see the Blitzcrank into this Braum option if they wanted to. Couple of seconds left. Gonna be pivot. I know. I want to, but it's not going to happen.
Well, think about how Braum works. If Blitzcrank grabs him, Braum wants to be in auto attack range anyway, so he can start getting his Winter's Bite on you.
I know, but it would have been fun to watch. Nevertheless, it's going to be the GP instead. Seeing a lot of GP over the last couple of weeks, and we've had a lot of discussion around Gangplank, you know, off air in the office, in terms of the options, and of course coming up into this. Oh,
yes!
That's exactly what we're talking about. And just like you predicted, Frost, it is going to be the bar. Do you like this combination now?
Talk trash, get smashed. This is what it's going to be. You pick the melee support, you pick something blind that can be abused into that bot lane. So now pressure's on for the Mad Lions. Make this Bard pick work for you. Try to punish that Braum in the lane phase, and then have so much utility come mid-game once the map has opened up.
Okay, so what is now going to be the response here from SK Gaming? It is a Diana locked in. All right, so Diana into LeBlanc, Ornn into Gangplank, and then we've got the MF Bard into Aphelios versus Braum. If we zoom out and look at the two team compositions, a little bit more of a frontline tankiness on the side of SK, a little bit more, let's say, pick power maybe on the side of Mad.
So usually games are really decided kind of around the completion of 1 to 2 items. That's when our top teams really have decided that the game is over. So majority of the champions that you're going to see revolving around the meta have really strong 1 to 2 item breakpoints. And then if you're kind of on the lower end where things get a little bit messy, where you need to rely on those scaling tools, then that's when you need to find your late game insurance policy. So things like the Gangplank, like the Aphelios. We haven't seen Diana to the greatest success. It's really been just G2 and Fnatic that have put priority onto this champion. So I'm actually glad to see it spreading to the other champs, because I believe it was Yamada who said it. That champion is secret OP. I think she's secretly very, very broken.
Now the question is, if she's secret OP, is she OP enough to help SK double their wins? That is what I want to find out in this game, as Jenax will have his hands on the Diana. We're in the opening game here of week 3 in the LEC, and the Mad Lions and the SK Gaming squads, they need to show some growth. They need to show that they can contest and maybe sneak their way up towards the bottom of that playoff contention.
And it feels like there's a lot of pressure on SK because they are a team mostly of veterans, so you expect them to do better here.
Well, we will find out. It says Mad Lions taking on SK.
Was that tense moment where you didn't know where the intro was going to be. I was like, I just gotta fit a line in here. So re-clarifying my statement. Because I do think that Mad are the favored team to win here. You can look at the standings, you can see that. The reason why I think that there's more expectations on SK is because, again, if we're thinking about who is the top of the bottom tier teams, you have kind of 2 big veteran squads in there. You have Schalke and you have SK Gaming that are littered with veterans. You have 2-time MVP Trick in this game, and you wouldn't know it by how SK Gaming are sitting in the standings, versus Vitality, Misfits, Mad Lions, who are full of such young, fresh faces. And so that's why, yeah, Mad Lions feel like the team at the very top of that bottom pack, but expectations should be more about SK Gaming and Schalke. Like, fans should be getting upset. Where are you guys? It's time to show up.
And we'll find out if this is the game and this is the week, right? Secret OP Diana that we've talked about. Trick on this Elise has the ability to impact the early game. And I think when you look down relatively squishy members of the Mad Lions squad, there are some opportunities to play around. CC in every single lane. There's tools to play with. So now we need to set expectations. What do SK have to do to unlock some early advantages.
Well, I do want to focus in on Trick, and I kind of want to talk about his jungle style in particular. I did a lot of review looking at Trick this last week, and I feel like he's gotten a bad rap. It feels like a lot of people are very irritated with Trick. I know he was getting a little bit of flame from Ender in particular on the analyst desk, and I want to really define Trick's style. Trick is super good at playing around wave state. That means when his laners are far forward because their wave is built up and it's crashing, Trick is always there to protect them, to shadow underneath them, to protect them from a gank. He's super great that when his team is getting pushed in and there's a potential dive, Trick shows up just in time. He's always right place, right time, but he's not the hard carry jungler. He's a very smart pathing jungler playing around priority, so when his laners start losing, when they're just getting kicked in, Trick is not going to look like a strong jungler because he's able to take a good team and make them great, but he cannot hard carry a bottom of the table team.
If we were to call it, give it a terminology, I think the cerebral jungler is something that we talked about.
It's hard because like so much jungling is, but yeah, in the old way that would mean to people in like 2014, 2015, it's kind of that same like old school Korean style of jungling.
And that's exactly my thing with Trick. It's kind of like an old school jungle play style, right? It feels like the game has somewhat evolved past that. But let's see, against the Mad Lions today, Trick has already started off his jungle camp, got a good clear, and starting to make his way down. Crownshot and Limit, they've shoved the wave in quite aggressively in the bottom lane, and in the mid lane, Jenax is currently being pushed in. So there are some opportunities for play here as Trick is starting to sniff around.
But this is a perfect example of what we were just talking about. Limit and Crownshot have a wave that is built up. It has forced them to be overextending. You saw that Shadow was pathing down there. Trick walks down there not because he's looking for a gank, but because he expects the enemy jungler to be there. He is protecting his bot side and using the priority that his bot lane have gotten him to acquire the Scuttle Crab. Yeah. And this is what you're going to see from Trick over and over again. It's very standard jungling, but it's not like he's not doing anything.
Well, I guess if you are coming up against a younger team like the Mad Lions and you do have that experience that you can lean on, that's how you can unlock some advantages. Every time I look at the minimap, Trick is nearby wherever Shadow happens to be. By the way, I don't know if anyone could hear it on the comms. Berlin did not appreciate the cocoon going wide on that Scuttle Crab. There was a little bit of disdain from here at the LEC studio.
Listen, his brain's great. It's the hands that sometimes have some issues.
Unfortunately, he's got a lot of skills in the Elise kit that are somewhat point and click, or at least have aimbots. That little spiderling, the volatile one at least, will chase its target down. We're not going to talk about GP versus Ornn for a while, because frankly, it's a bit of a farm lane, as you can see them shoving each other in. But yeah, I keep just looking at Trick and Shadow and where they're going to be headed. And Shadow's the first one that maybe has something to play around, but I think he's anticipating Trick being there because of the fact that Orome's pushed the way forward.
He is, whereas Trick's like, my Ornn has Flash right now. He does have Grass, so didn't take the Unsealed Spellbook. Normally we see Ornns that if they are in a threat of a dive position, they'll grab the Unsealed Spellbook so they get access to Ignite to dissuade that. Obviously Grass works really well for Ornn in the lane phase. There we go.
Oh, Sacre almost in trouble, but I think that Sonic Wave missed by a millimeter while this is going on. By the way, Kaiser had actually made his way to the mid lane. He's dropped himself a Caretaker Shrine. And I think Trick was able to sneak into the bushes before Kaiser spotted him. And will be able to escape using the dragon to repel in and out. So good wards deep inside the jungle. SK, not in a bad spot just to start this out. Some information to work with here on Trick's side.
Yeah, but now it's what does he do with that actual information? Everything's been pretty quiet so far. We can talk a little bit about some of the expectations that we have for Aphelios and Misfortune. I was actually having a really interesting conversation with VODS, and it's kind of focusing on what these AD carries bring differently to their lane phase, and also especially the mid game. In tandem with a Bard, Misfortune actually has like some decent poke. You would never really think about her as a poke champion, but when she starts laying down the Q in early levels as well as early mid-game, it can be pretty substantial, and then when you put that in tandem with a Bard who can kind of chip away at you, you can start to whittle opponents down rather than just looking for the all-in with the bullet time.
Yeah, definitely the case. That was a good example of the double up. Not the highest damage right now. Trick was able to sneak inside this alcove. The engage is going to go forward. That's a flash out, and very nicely done. Magical Journey comes out. That was a flash engage from Limits.
Everything went everywhere. That was,
You're not very excited with that one. But I do want to put some numbers in just a moment, because I want to go back to Carzzy. Before we do, Trick and Shadow gonna find themselves in a position to jump in onto Jenax. Here comes another engage. Kaiser manages to get the lockdown into the wall. First blood picked up with a power slap from Bard, and Trick forced to run away. Kaiser reading the play, chasing Trick, and Jenax goes down.
The skill shots finally landed. We finally had something connect, and it's little Bard that walks away with it.
And that's a really good start here for the Mad Lions. I didn't actually see, look at the minimap, by the way. There's Bard, played by Kaiser, just making his way up.
And it's easy for him to do this. His 80 carries being pushed in so he can make that roam. The flash chain there.
Unbelievable. I didn't actually realize it caught Trick and Jenax. I thought it was against the wall. So Jenax just completely stopped. Couldn't do anything to escape.
Was that the Bard Q, or was it,
was
the
indeed. I'm pretty confident
LeBlanc
with the
chain?
Oh, maybe it was both. I'm not sure.
I'll give it to you.
Double check. Thank you very much. But let's go back to Carzzy, because you did talk a little bit about not only just the champion, but as a player, he's one of the impressive rookies. He stepped up, and he's making an impact. He's playing a little bit of like a frontline ADC, but I like to see the confidence on stage.
It's this idea that Carzzy is trying to maximize his damage output in team fights. He would never be what you call a KDA player. Yeah. His KDA is actually not that great because he does die a lot in team fights. But again, maximizing that damage. So I feel like it's just about experience for Carzzy, for him to get comfortable playing on stage, kind of learn some things from the veterans. And again, there's a reason to be excited about this guy, to be hyped up.
Yeah, of course. He's got 71 CS to 69 right now. Pushed away into Crownshot. And as it stands, Trick and Shadow, they've shown their faces a few times. Trick unable to get that kill a little bit earlier. Both of them are nearly at level 6. And we're going to talk a little bit about junglers just in general over the course of the next few games. A little bit of a deeper dive looking at all of the junglers that are opening up or playing on these bottom of the table teams. And as it stands right now, Sacre is going to be a little bit of trouble. Humanoid makes his way up. He's still got his flash and the Ornn as well.
So what I want to point out is not the first, but the big important reset has come in for the supports, and this is usually where you see the Rift Herald swap. So it's around 8 minutes. Yeah. Herald is still relatively easy to kill. Yeah, if you take it down right now, you're going to guarantee that you can get access to at least 2 Herald rotations. You have level 6 on Carzzy, and immediately you have the reset come in from Mad, where they're walking towards the Herald and feel perfectly fine to potentially trade the Ocean, which is what SK are going to opt into. But this is Mad getting first to the play, and frankly, the objective that is just worth more gold right now.
And it's also a bit of an accelerating tool. If you can use the Herald to knock over a tower, get more gold, get into the mid game where the next dragon or the following one you have an item advantage to fight for, well, then that's how we're seeing a lot of teams winning games here in the 2020 season.
So naturally, kind of the one thing that you do give up in this position when you're actively choosing to trade Drake for Herald is that obviously the 4th Drake is the important one. So now there is the theoretical win condition for SK Gaming to go for a 4 Drake rush, which means that if Mad managed to get one of the Drakes to break that chain, games go so quickly that you don't normally see more than 5, 6 Drakes. There's not a lot of opportunity where you see games where like one team has 3 Drakes, another team has 3 Drakes, and it's like going the distance. So that's what we're watching for Mad. Like, if they mess up here within the next 5 minutes and they give a free 2nd Drake to SK Gaming, then the pressure is on that you are competing for that 4 Drake rush. Whereas if Mad actually get the 2nd Drake, get the 3rd Drake, then that Rift Herald trade, 100% even more worth it.
And we get even more excited about one of the newer teams on the LEC stage. We talked a little bit about the impact on junglers. Trick managed to hit level 6 at around 9 minutes and 20 seconds. You can see the average for the league at 8:39. And the early games have slowed down a little. The fact that junglers are taking a little longer to hit those power spikes on the levels and impact the lanes. You can see average kills plus assists down as well.
I don't think that's because of the junglers want that.
The jungle itself, right? But I mean, this game, a number of missed skill shots is having that impact. I think that's fair to say.
It wasn't great.
No, it wasn't. But I mean, it's like, we're 10 minutes in, it's 1,000 gold up for Mad Lions, and we started saying, like, expectations for SK. Come on, you've got some tools. Trick on the Elise. It's not done yet, but we need to see him have a bigger impact in the next 5 to 10, or Mad Lions, they have the tools to run away with the game.
Yeah, and kind of looking at what should happen, of course, we're looking for where Mad want to use the Herald. There's a great video that I think the LEC Twitter just released that talks about kind of like the best case scenario for Herald's use. It's on the last 2 plates. So obviously that's the dream scenario for Mad if they want to push it there. It's who you want to really accelerate to get that plate gold if you do want to try to push it 4 plates.
And I mean, one thing we haven't mentioned yet, Orome's Gangplank down around 20 CS, just under it actually, on that Gangplank. Not really a huge worry right now, but maybe Shadow, Mad Lions want to get him comfy.
I feel like Gangplank is just very strong right now in a lot of how our bottom teams are fighting, especially when you kind of look at the composition of SK. When you have Aphelios and Diana, two fairly, not short-range champions, but Aphelios doesn't really have a lot of mobility in his kit. You just drop a Gangplank ultimate on top of him, it just is a really feels-bad moment. It's like, how is he supposed to really play out those fights successfully if the Gangplank really starts taking off?
And then you add into that the fact that Elise and LeBlanc can, you know, hop, skip, and jump around to try and put pressure on him. Becomes a little bit of a dive challenge. Talking about dive challenges, Jenax is in some trouble in the top lane. Let's see just how many tower plates this one has available. 3 or 4. Jenax goes forward, instantly kicked backwards. Shelly will take out 2 plays. Here comes the Ornn Horn in between the uprights, but the Tempered Fate buys just enough time to save the tower.
Very well done, though, to dissuade, dissolve, disrupt.
I like disrupt.
Disrupt the Ornn there.
And that means nothing further comes from it. So what was that? 3 plates secured. Carzzy's going to get knocked up by the Braum ultimate and forced to flash defensively, but he does get out with his life. And while that's going on, Orome's pushing bottom. I mean, this is a number of plates gone the way of Mad Lions.
And I don't want to flame here, but this is kind of one of the issues with some of our bottom tier teams and things to watch out for. It's situations like what just happened to Carzzy there, where you take the wrong pathway into the lane and then you're forced to burn a summoner spell for virtually no reason because you just made a mistake. And it's not just Carzzy or Mad Lions that will happen to. It happens at too high a frequency for our bottom team. So in terms of development and kind of setting goalposts, that's one of the big things that we really need to see tighten up for our, you know, 5th and under squads.
Yeah, of course, for Mad Lions, though, they're still in the lead. 1,500 up. Carzzy is that frontline ADC, so maybe he's just playing.
He doesn't have to play frontline on Misfortune. He could just stand back. He's got a great runway. Just press R, it's fine.
Yeah, exactly the case. Got himself the Essence Reaver. First big ticket item, really, on the Mad Lions squad. Level 11 just dinged for Orome and Humanoid. And Jenax currently stacking up that Rod of Ages. Humanoid being jumped on here by Sacre. And he's just going to get run down. Carzzy, remember, no flash trick, no cocoon connection, but that is such a nice binding. Trick almost gets taken out by the bullet time, and there's no further follow-up unless Shadow wants to go hunting. But Carzzy gets away with his life, somewhat luckily. Kaiser just in range to survive thanks to that binding.
I mean, the skill shots didn't connect there for SK Gaming. They thought that they were starting to fight. I do want to credit Mad Lions, though, instantly pulled the trigger. The Gangplank ultimate came down in perfect timing with the Misfortune ult into the mid lane and just blew SK Gaming up. And remember what we said about the Drakes? Yeah, that's really bad news bears for SK Gaming because they just lost like so much momentum in this game by having their Drake rush disrupted. Yeah,
not going to be able to get to that soul very quickly. The Mountain Rift has taken over, which actually is great for Bard. Going to be able to get more of those Cosmic Binding stuns inside the jungle. And look at this vision superiority. Mad Lions saying, we dare you, SK, to defend this bottom tower. Jenax is going to get caught out, knocked back, dashes forwards though, pretty good damage with the help of the tower. Shadow almost goes down. And Kaiser needs to use that Tempered Fate once again.
Did his Q get blocked by a minion? Shadows?
Didn't follow it. What going on just there? Our Trick has just had zero impact with this Elise in the 15 minutes.
So obviously the Elise and combo is usually you open up with the Dragon Rage kick when you can, because while they're in the air, it can help you set up with a nice sonic wave from the Q. You then make use of the execute damage because you're front loading all of your damage there. Keep trying. We'll hit one of them.
Eventually something will hit. But yeah, the combo doesn't work out, and Jenax is going to his life. He still had flash.
Did the minion block it?
Thank you, observers. Kick.
What?
It did. It did. Yeah, nicely spotted, Frosk.
Meanwhile,
Orome is going to be in some trouble here. Sacre's got himself the upgraded Sunfire Cape, as well as the Ninja Tab Eye, so he does not care about the Triforce GP.
I do want to say, LS is probably watching and so happy that an Ornn decided to go for Sunfire rather than Iceborne Gauntlet in this situation. We were just having this discussion. You just get, frankly, more stats for the amount of money that you're spending, especially when you're against an AD opponent. But some of our Ornns do like to go for the Iceborne Gauntlet.
Well, this time around, decided to go for that Sunfire, upgraded now to Forge Fire. And despite the 1500 cold deficit, SK are still touching distance, but they've lost the first Herald, they lost the second Drake, they lost the second Herald, and very close to losing both top and bottom towers. So this game has the potential to like accelerate incredibly quickly in favor of the Mad Lions.
Now what you're hitting on is that it feels like the game really is getting very quickly out of control for SK Gaming, even though the gold lead doesn't look like it's opened up that much. And that's just kind of been the trend from the global meta. It is the fact that Mad Lions are almost in complete control of the map. Now, something that they can do is, depending on how this Diana pops off, if she ever does, they do have double teleport. They can try to play her out into a side lane. They can possibly look for flanks. Like, there's still windows or opportunities or win conditions for SK Gaming, but as the game is in cruise control right now, Mad Lions are feeling very confident.
I think the trick for Jenax to actually pop off and hit his limit is for both of those other players to land skill shots. Because as it stands, the follow-up CC or the additional lockdown has just not come. I mean, Limit flash engaged with a Q, didn't find anything. Trick has thrown out multiple cocoons.
Oh wait, they're gonna try to force a fight.
And there's Elise is just not been. Now that's the other thing that we haven't quite touched on yet, is as we now move into this mid-game phase, a lot more movement around. Sacre on this Ornn can be a very big game changer.
Yeah, if he hits the ultimate.
Yes.
Now, something that I do want to put notice to is that Gangplank is starting to shore up the difference between him and Ornn. And then watch how SK Gaming actually use Sacre, especially when he is on the Ornn, which it makes sense. Ornn is a great team fighter, so we'll constantly pull him in. But even when Sacre is on things like a Gangplank, SK Gaming will almost always pull him into 5v5s. And so kind of between the 15 to 20 minute mark, Sacre does lose any CS advantage that he usually builds over an opponent because he's spending so much time not farming, but just kind of waddling back to his team.
On the bright side, if they get into a position where they need to contest some of these objectives.
But that's the problem, Trevor. It's that you sacrifice your individual lead that you're given, but the team fight then has to work. SK Gaming are too dependent on those team fights working because they're not a developed enough team to figure out how to kind of move the chains, if you will, progress the state of the game without winning a team fight versus our top teams.
And it is, I'm going to be honest, it's a little bit sad seeing the limited impact that Trick has had in so far 4.5, call it 5 games of play. Like you said, 2-time MVP and
0-0-0 at 19 minutes
on an Elise, and not without trying. That's the important thing here. You know, there have been attempts, and it just hasn't worked out. It's going to be up to everybody else for SK Gaming to bring up a 3,000 gold lead. Mad Lions clearly making a statement.
Give me that Q.
Now Sacre is going to be nearby. Call the Forge God comes out. That is a 3-man knockup. SK this time around may be able to escape. Magical Journey saves the Mad Lions for now. I think if Sacre was further away, that would have gone much, much worse.
But remember what we were saying, SK Gaming, they need to make those team fights count when they turn towards it. It's situations like that where now...
Oh! Crownshot just escapes the chains, and the team fight did not work. So 3,000 gold lead still in favor of Mad Lions. The Mountain Drake is up and available. Mad Lions saying, come fight, we're ready for you.
I mean, Mad Lions are just suffocating SK Gaming out of this. They had to convert on that team fight. This is disastrous that they did. Very well played from Mad Lions to, again, kind of absorb the immediate teleports that came in, absorb the Ornn ultimate, and then just kind of reset the fight. But this is pretty dire. We're going to start seeing SK Gaming get a bit desperate.
Okay, so let's zoom out a little bit. For 10 minutes on the analyst desk before the game, and the first things we said was, looking at this week, we get some clarity in the middle of the pack. Already, SK, not what we want. And Mad Lions, I think it is fair to say, a decent, sort of a baseline understanding of the fundamentals. They played the Rift Heralds well, they challenged the second Dragon.
You say that as Shelly's like...
I'm saying securing the Rift Heralds, right?
Okay.
And they utilized it. But like, for a new team in a league that's sitting 2-2, I am more impressed by Mad Lions than I am disappointed by SK as a team. I'm just disappointed in the experienced players a little bit more on the SK squad.
So you're a glass half full type of guy.
I have to be. I have to be.
I see.
But I mean, do you think that's fair to say? Where do you stand, Frosco?
I mean, I think it's really easy to get aboard the hype train with Mad Lions to see all these new names. to see a new organization, just a fresh breath of air, and then they kind of hit like that perfect combo of they're also winning games, or at least even doing well against top teams, like their start against G2 all the way back in week 1. Whereas SK Gaming feel a bit forgotten in the conversation. I came in, I was like, I'm going to be so glass half full. I'm going to like convince people that Trick is still a very good jungler, that he does a lot for SK Gaming, and unfortunately we then have one of these games where 22 minutes in, there's nothing on the scoreboard for him.
No, and it's just, it's difficult not only for him individually, but also for the SK squad. Now Jenax may survive another dive this time around. Nope, not. Look at this, 4 players comes in. And it was Carzzy that managed to get the kill secure. Jenax almost outplayed it. He had that flash to escape. Had Carzzy's bullet time not landed.
Yeah, really well placement from the bullet time, though, from Carzzy, just to make sure that there was just no way that Jenax was going to have a good time there, spreading it across the entire tower. And Shadow also did manage to hit his Q off of the Dragon Rage that time.
Oh, look at that. Improvements.
There wasn't just a minion that ruined his day.
Some junglers in this game can hit skill shots.
Okay, that was the last one.
Sorry. Well, again, even the Berlin's people are like, ooh, that was too far, Trev. By the way, Sacre making it pretty clear when you look at some item upgrades. It's like playing for himself, you guys. Nobody else is helping out.
He's got great itemization. Abyssal Mask is great here, especially the upgraded version. You get so many free stats.
Yeah, he
is. The only unfortunate thing is that we're 2-0, and when your composition is really about like the big team fights, you can't have 0 kills on your scoreboard.
No, you cannot. Crownshot did just get the Infinity Edge, so that could become the Molten Edge eventually. But he needs to find an opportunity to do something with it. The third tower, the outer tower, falls here in favor of Mad. 5k gold up. They've just played fairly safe, fairly controlled. Now we get to judge every new team's greatest challenge or biggest like closing the game. What would determine? What would make you say it's a good closeout to the game for Mad Lions?
I'm just looking for Kaiser to get a little antsy and start just lobbing them and just see what he can pick off with this Bard ultimate, especially in tandem with Humanoid. If Humanoid goes on the hunt, I mean, the pretty standard play that we know it's going to happen is it's about that time that we start playing around Baron. We're going to move in. We're going to place triangle vision. We're going to look for picks. Once we get a numbers advantage, we convert to Baron. Like the same old song and dance that we've seen forever. Which is why SK Gaming are setting a trap. They know what is coming, and now they are hoping that they catch either Kaiser, Shadow, or Humanoid setting up the vision line and make themselves a pick.
Yeah, but the problem here is good luck.
They're going to catch one.
Good luck, because
eventually.
I mean, you're going to hit something to catch one. I don't believe anymore. Dun 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 dun. Oh, no! That's not my fault.
Wait. Even if he had hit it, though.
No, I know. Nothing would have happened. But it's more that, like, junglers missing skill shots has become the undercurrent of this story. I was going to say, even if SK catch someone, they have to insta-give them quick, because in the last few seconds, Black Cleaver, Essence Reaver, Infinity Edge have all been picked up by Mad Lions. I don't know if SK can win a fight anymore.
Take a look at the gold lead and how it's quietly ballooned.
It hasn't been quiet. We've been yelling it for 10 minutes, damn it.
The only way SK Gaming win the fight here is if it is a vastly unfair fight.
Yeah, definitely.
But that means that they need to curate one. And that starts with the vision denial. They invested a lot of gold and a lot of time trying to make the picks. They didn't find them, and now, unfortunately, they're kind of in a rinse and repeat cycle. But while they're getting pushed in, it's going to take that much longer for them to get set up back on the map, try to deny the vision, and while that's happening, the next dragon is spawning, and it's Mad who have priority over it.
All right, 5 seconds until that one's up.
They're going to fight. Watch Sacre.
Kaiser's making his way backwards. Ornn is available. This is a 5v5 available inside the river. That's going to be a stun against the wall. Sacre will be able to get the secondary proc, and it finds nobody.
Walk it off, boys.
Humanoid steps forward,
Walk away.
Out limit, and SK Gaming with no Ornn. They're still dabbling inside the pit. Tempered Fate finds no one. What goes up must come down, and Trick instantly runs away. Humanoid unable to hit the first chain, has another to throw up. That locks down Sacre. He hasn't been killed just yet. Cosmic Binding will tag just one. Now Humanoid continues to chase. Orome's looking for Trick. Manages to take him out. Bullet time from Carzzy comes out, and Jenax is dropped. Limit taken out in the back end. I think that was by a double up. The Dragon 3 kills. Mad Lions played that exceptionally well. SK couldn't do a thing to challenge.
And Gangplank with exactly who he needed to kill also take out Trick, so you knew that they were going to walk to the Baron anyway. It gets that much easier now that Crownshot is also dead, but most importantly that the Elise is dead. So I'm going to say that's probably the game. I think the game ended about 9 minutes ago, but this is definitely the nail in the coffin, pending just
Correct.
an absolute miracle throw from Mad.
I like that. SK Gaming have been in the coffin for a while, and that may be the last nail in the coffin after this chase down. And again, Mad Lions, they just play on the edge. They find the right targets. Trick nowhere near his team, and he gets stomped underneath the Pirate's boot.
Yep. That was he locked it in, and he's playing Robo Gangplank too. It like came up on his visor. He's like, target acquired, kill the jungler.
Oh, I like that one. I didn't actually see how Humanoid popped Crownshot, just I suppose catching him on a recall.
I'm pretty sure that he just landed on him. That's like usually how LeBlanc works.
Yeah, definitely.
Have you seen like Heath Ledger when he says you want to see a magic trick with a pencil?
I can't say that I have, I'm afraid.
Oh.
I know it's probably my age bracket.
Well, people who know that gif, Crownshot was the pencil.
All right, well, there's the pencil being popped. Nicely done. Super quickly, when we come out of that picture-in-picture, just remind everybody what the standings look like at the beginning of the week. SK Gaming 1-3, Mad Lions 2-2. They're going to move their way up. And I think continuing to demonstrate to us our assumptions that Mad Lions are one of these lower playoff contender teams. And they've got a lot of time to develop on the foundations they have. In SK, they're going to change something drastically as we're already 3.5 weeks in. Well, moving into the 3rd week and really not finding their footing.
Yeah, and I do think that might start with the... it's hard. I think Trick will probably have a lot of the finger pointed at him for this game, but I don't think that this is only the jungler.
Nope.
You're still having a lot of times where, maybe not necessarily in this game, although I'll hold it though, because Jenax, this is the Hail Mary. This is the miracle. This is it.
Hail Mary play has been channeled. Tempered Fate doesn't do anything. Jenax goes forward, kicks backwards. He's not going to go down just yet. Sacre is going to get caught out, dashes into the wall. Carzzy manages to take Jenax down, and now Sacre is running for his life. Humanoid keeps throwing out the damage, and SK Gaming's Hail Mary did not play out the way they wanted it to. They will compete against Schalke 04 tomorrow, who may be Schalke 05, depending on how the next few games go. And as it stands, Mad Lions, 28 minutes in. Look, this has just been a fairly confident display of like basic gameplay decision making. It's what you want to see. Trick hit a cocoon! He hit a skill shot, and it's still not going to get a kill. It's still not going to get a kill. The inhibitor goes down, but finally, my man, he found a skill shot.
You know, it's a rough game when the casters are trying to find like mini games to play. We're like trying to collect like meeps around.
I am the cocoon guy, right? It is my favorite spell in this game, and he's killing me by not hitting it.
Yeah. There was also the fact that poor Diana didn't connect with her, was it Crescent Strike there?
That was indeed it.
I've been working on my replays. I'm trying.
Nicely done, nicely done. Right, so you have to give me an evaluation now of how they've closed this game out. Give it a score out of 10.
Sometimes in League of Legends,
Yes,
you get games where 2 teams play great and 1 team just plays better.
got it.
Other times in League of Legends, you get games where 1 team plays fine and the other team didn't show up to play.
This is one of those?
I will just leave the evaluation up to which one we might have.
Yeah, I get that. Viewers at home, let us know. At LEC, at Froskurinn, which of the games today did you see? But I am excited about Mad Lions. I like seeing what they're doing. I'd like to see...
He's back to glass half full. He's like, I can fill this up,
No,
I can spin this.
It's just, it's
a rough game.
No, it is, but I was nervous when I saw the players coming into the league and like setting expectations. We'll talk about that in a moment because the inhibitor's being chunked down. Supers, by the way, on the Nexus turrets already. 2 of them. I was not looking at the minimap at all. Mad Lions just very happy to chip away and pick up their 3rd win.
Not a lot of mini-map looking happening.
No, there's not. You don't need to be. Mad Lions are going to pick up the soul.
I mean, this is more time now for SK Gaming to continue to try to
Land a cocoon.
lob the ball up.
what is it, 13?
The problem is, even if he hits it now, there's no good target unless you can hit Carzzy and immediately delete him. But even then, you're still dealing with like so many damage threats. Like every member of them is a damage threat, including Bard.
Yeah. I love that Dead Man's play Bard as well. Just
it's like it can zip around even faster.
It really is, exactly. Just running up. Not quite the One Punch Man build that I like to see on Bards, but just the final siege. Here comes Humanoid. Looking for Sacre. Gets some damage onto limit before the Forge Guard comes out. Not going to be able to knock it back around. Going to get rooted down, 1,000 HP. Cosmic Binding into the bullet time. And he's going to be able to dash away. Stay alive. The rest of Mad Lions take down the inhibitor turret, and Humanoid's just shoving this wave in. I mean, SK, they simply cannot stand toe-to-toe with the Mad Lions, and this is a paint-by-numbers victory here.
Is this going to be a perfect game? Oh no, because they got that Drake.
They did indeed, so won't work out that way. Finally kills Froskurinn with the way of SK. Trick does go down, but it simply may not matter. Jenax is taken out, followed up by Sacre, is now on the run. 600 HP. After losing to Orome picks up a triple kill. The Nexus turret will fall down, the second to follow. And now Crownshot and Sacre have to try something to stop this wave, but it simply won't matter. Sacre jumps forward, will get taken out. The Mad Lions will turn their attention to the Nexus. Crownshot is just stood waiting. Wow, even production want this game to win. Mad Lions take down SK.
Cut this down. Pull the camera.
I believe it's the Oscars on Sunday, and obviously when someone's speech runs too long, they play them off with music. That's the equivalent.
It was rough.
Big smiles on the Mad Lions' faces.
Shadow's like, yeah, I don't know. I just felt like I was jungling against air.
I think it's very, very fair. Very, very fair. Problems to solve.